Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got another Loki review. A bit later than usual, but better late than never, I guess. And just before the latest episode as well. So let's just get straight into it. Episode 4, a very eventful episode, to say the least.
That's a good thing. It was a very good thing.
Yeah. I mean, the episode was called the Nexus Event, so I mean, with a title like that, you'd think something big would happen, and a lot of very, very big things happened in this episode. And it was like the best episode of any of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, like by far, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know about
100%,
you,
100%. I think one of the only episodes that comes close is, the last episode of Falcon the Winter Soldier for me. I think that's the only episode.
Yeah, I thought that was cool, but yeah, I think this is like leaps and bounds better than everything else that they've released on Disney Plus, like as far as Marvel is concerned. I thought it was amazing, and we've got after credits scene this week, which is cool.
And it was a good scene as well. It wasn't like a waste one.
Yeah,
like
very good scene.
WandaVision
That was like one of my or the second Falcon of the Winter Soldier one. But let's just get straight into because everyone's seen it by now. If you haven't, then I don't know what the hell you're doing. Go and watch it. But let's just get straight into some spoilers, because as we said, there's a lot that happened in this episode. So, obviously, at the end of the third episode, which in comparison to this one, could I just say was very fillery and like a whole lot didn't really happen. But in that episode, obviously they were on that planet Lamentis, I think it was called. They were on that planet. That whole thing blows up, and like we pretty much predicted, the TVA comes and takes them, and we get more of an insight in this episode into more of Sylvie's backstory, and also more about what the TVA is about. So obviously, with Sylvie's backstory, I guess should we go straight into that?
Yeah, might as well.
First with they show Sylvie as like a little girl, played by the actress who played the younger version of Rey in The Force Awakens, by the way, and she was just like playing with her toys or something, and then Ravana and a few other TVA agents come in and say you've like transgressed the sacred timeline, or whatever their catchphrase is. I don't remember what it is, but they take her away and start like basically putting her up for trial, even though she's like 10, and so
they destroy her timeline. That's one.
Yeah.
One thing to know.
Yeah, and we don't know like what she's done at all. Like they don't really.
And we don't find that out. So I assume next 2 episodes going to be. That's when.
Yeah, maybe it's something important. I don't know. But then, anyways, they've taken her away, obviously. But then, as we know, she escapes, and she's been pretty much on the run since, as they explained in the episode, where she escapes from Ravana, which I thought was kind of weird. You know when she's just kind of running away, Sylvie is.
Yeah.
And then she gets the portal device and just kind of looks at Ravana for a few seconds. Why didn't Ravana like try and stop her? She just kind of stands there and stares at her while she gets away. I don't know, that was a bit weird to me, but plot convenience, I guess. But anyways, Loki and Sylvie get taken to the TVA, and pretty much a large majority of this episode is Loki and Mobius having like conversations with each other, which reminded me of the first episode as well, which I really liked, and the second episode. But then Loki gets put into this time like loop jail thing. What do they call it? Do they have a name for it?
Nah, I think they just sort of throw him in. It's like basically a timeout that just like they say it's a bad memory that repeats itself.
That's it. Yeah.
And it was Sif kicking him in the balls, basically.
Yeah, which was cool to see Sif back, but I mean, again, why would you bring Sif back for this? I don't know. It's like part of me was just thinking that, like, could they not have brought her back in a different movie? But then again, I guess there wasn't much of a place for her in Ragnarok, and I think Jamie Alexander said something like, "This might not be the last time we see her," or something like that.
Probably say Love and Thunder, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, because she wasn't in Ragnarok. They didn't really explain that. But anyways, that whole thing's happening where it's just Sif kicking Loki like 1,000 times, and Loki basically says that he's a narcissist and that he's just afraid of being alone, pretty much. And then Sif says to him that you'll always be alone, which kind of explains why when Lady Loki or Sylvie, or I just like keep calling her Lady Loki now, but when Sylvie and Loki like were forming that connection on Lamentis, that's why the Nexus event went off, obviously, because they were sort of forming some sort of connection, and Loki's not meant to do that. He's always meant to be alone. So I assume maybe when Loki forms a connection with all these other Lokis in the whatever that thing was at the end of the episode, maybe that'll be like the biggest Nexus event of them all or something like that. But
true.
Then we have that whole thing, but then eventually Mobius shows up and takes him out of the thing and interrogates him a bit. And by the way, before this, we find out, what was that? Was it him Hunter C20? The one that was like supposedly died at the end of the second episode.
Yeah, she got pruned.
Yeah, well, we find that out later, but we thought that she was just normally dead. And then, obviously, through circumstances, Mobius manages to talk to Loki and find out from Loki that the TVA is all mind-controlled, which Sylvie told Loki in the last episode. Which, I mean, that was interesting to see Mobius' reaction to that. He just thought he was lying. So he threw him back into the weird prison loop thing. And then he goes to talk to Ravana, but that obviously didn't pan out quite how Ravana wanted it to.
No, he speaks to the other person first,
Hunter B15.
Yeah, because
that's
Sylvie's shown her the truth, how she did C20.
Yeah.
And that's why he believes Loki.
I forgot about that scene.
Yeah, that's why he believes Loki.
Because they had that scene where Sylvie shows her the memory or whatever, where she had like a happy life.
Yeah, and then she starts crying.
Yeah. Which that was a pretty cool scene.
I think that's the best thing done with that character.
Yeah, because I like how they humanized that character and didn't just make her a mean monster who was just a big brute who just beats up Loki and I'm mean just because. Like, they actually gave her some depth, which I like.
Then it's the scene with Ravana.
Yeah, where Mobius and Ravana are talking, and then Mobius switches. What's that little device thing? It's like a little.
They don't even. They said the name because they said it in episode 3 when it breaks, but I'm not sure. It's the one they used to teleport. It's basically the communicator.
It's a little PDA looking thing. Yeah, it's like the communicator from Power Rangers, but it like opens up and it like actually does other things. But they have those things, and Mobius switches his and finds out that Hunter C20 wasn't actually she didn't die of natural causes. She was pruned. So you see Mobius' reaction to that, and he realizes that Loki's telling the truth. And he decides that he wants to go back in and kind of get Loki so that he can talk to him. And just before that, by the way, they had that scene where Mobius and Loki were talking to each other, which I thought was really good, where he's like trying to basically get Loki to admit that he likes Sylvie. And then Sylvie, he's like saying that she's basically dead. And Loki's like, is she alive? And that was like cool to see Loki kind of grow as a character, which I thought was interesting.
Oh yeah, and he likes a version of himself, which Mobius says it's a bit
which
sick
makes
and twisted,
sense, to be
but
fair.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the most Loki thing to do.
Loki's a weird character anyway, so it's not really out of the ordinary for him. So yeah.
Yeah, and also, as I said, it's like the most Loki thing. He's, as he said, he's a narcissist, so if there's anyone he's going to like, it's going to be himself, isn't it?
That's true,
so, they had that whole scene, but then Loki comes into contact with Mobius again when Mobius goes back into that time loop thing and says to him that, do you think you deserve to be alone forever? Because that's what caused the Nexus event, that you weren't alone. Obviously, Loki says no. And then he says, do you trust Sylvie? And then Loki says, yeah. But then Mobius is kind of like on the fence because obviously Loki's lied to him before. And then Loki says that take like this advice from a friend. So then they go back through that portal thing. What are they called? I don't even remember I don't know what they are. Tele something. Because Sylvie was talking about it in the last episode. Those teleporter things they go through.
I'm not even sure.
Yeah, like a name. Temp pads. I think that's it.
Yeah. Something like that? Yes, that. Yeah.
But they go through that, and Ravana's standing there, and then without a second thought, she sticks that stick on Mobius and prunes him. So Mobius is dead in quotation marks. But as soon as I saw that, and as soon as I saw them kill Mobius, more specifically, as soon as I saw them kill Owen Wilson, who they're not going to waste, I thought, okay, he's not dead. Because this is basically like, I thought possibly, which I think is kind of what they've done. I thought it'd be like in Doctor Who. You haven't seen Doctor Who.
No.
But in the first season, in the finale, they had this transmat beam thing where basically they were like playing the weakest link in like some place. and there was like a robot version of Anne Robinson. This sounds stupid out of context, but when you watch the episode, it's sick. So just take my word for it. But basically, they shoot it at people and turns them to dust, and they teleport somewhere. And I think that's what they've done, where when things get pruned or hit by a reset device, and they teleport some place.
Yeah.
And then, anyways, Loki looks all depressed because obviously him and Mobius just shared a touching moment when he was like, take the advice of a friend and all that.
Before
and
that,
Mobius was also like,
before he gets pruned,
I want to go back to Mobius says that I want to go back to my real life where I actually come from.
Because maybe I had a jet ski, and I think a lot of people were saying they shed a tear at that moment in time where he got pruned. But he's probably not dead, so I don't think there's any reason to get emotional. Actually, we know he's not dead because his trailer footage that hasn't been shown yet of Mobius in like ancient Egypt driving a car. So that's like from the second trailer. So, but we know he's not dead. So basically confronts Ravonna, and then Sylvie and Loki get like basically locked up again. But they meet up, and then Sylvie says to him, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "What does he say?" I don't remember what the reply was.
I think he just kind of nods his head, doesn't he?
Yeah, because then they're going to beat the timekeepers, so they both look like they're crapping themselves, but they both look like they're ready to fight.
We see at the beginning of the episode, by the way, where Ravonna like goes, which one thing I don't understand. Why does my guess behind this is that Kang controls them, and she talks to Kang through the timekeepers. But why does she go on her own to go and meet the timekeepers when they're not when we find out in a bit that they're not real?
Well, maybe Kang just controls maybe like you just said, it's just like things, that. But
that's what I'm thinking, but I don't know.
I'm trying to think of like if there's any other reason, because I think they could be like, I don't know. Maybe it's just in case someone else like sees them or something. Because I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like that could be one of those things they don't explain.
Yeah,
that's why I don't want to think about it.
I guess they don't really have to, because you can just kind of put two and two together if the whole Kang thing is true. But I don't know. I think that it should be. Like, it probably will be Kang. Because, anyways, as we know, they go to talk to the timekeepers, and the timekeepers are, like, saying a bunch of random crap to them, pretty much. One of them looks like the Lorax, another one looks like
the Lorax
as well. The one with the big,
he does look like Lorax. He's like green Lorax, yeah.
What was that? I don't even remember what the other one looked like. Not the middle one.
I don't remember what the other one... Didn't the other one look like a bit of a lizard?
Yeah, I think so.
It doesn't really matter.
No,
you know why?
I remember what he looked like. No, he looked like a Skrull, because I remember I was annoyed because he looks more like a comic Skrull than the Piccolo Dragon Ball Evolution looking things in Captain Marvel did. Yeah. So yeah, he looked cool. But anyways, we find out in a bit they're actually not real, because
one's head
Loki
gets chopped off and it's a robot.
Yeah, Loki and Sylvie kind of.
It's like FNAF.
Yeah. Yeah, bloody FNAF. But Five Nights at the Timekeepers.
Yeah.
That should be a bloody game.
Five Nights at the TVA.
Yeah, Five Nights at the TV. If someone doesn't make a FNAF mod now with that, I'm gonna make it myself.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Bloody TVA.
Yeah, we see them get
because
confronted.
Hunter B-15 comes down, doesn't she?
Yeah, and helps them and pretty much saves them, kind of.
Yeah, but she throws Sylvie that big sword knife thing. I don't know what it was. It was like a big.
It's like Loki's daggers, but I'm guessing it's Sylvie's version of it.
Probably, yeah. But she throws her that, and then they start killing all the TVA agents, and then obviously Ravonna's saying protect the timekeepers, because as we find out, Sylvie throws the thing and its head comes off, but it's an android head, and then the other timekeepers start laughing and kind of just like keel over, and we find out the timekeepers are just robots this whole time, which I thought was cool.
And then Ravonna was like knocked out then, like at that point. And then
she was just like on the floor.
And Loki says if the timekeepers aren't real, who created the TVA? And this is the perfect moment for Kang to step in, but they didn't do it. I was slightly annoyed, but at least they're going in the right direction, because they could have gone in a different direction. That was the perfect moment for Kang to step in, and if Kang's reveal is a bit underwhelming, I'm going to be annoyed, because that was the perfect moment that he could have been revealed.
Oh, yeah, when Loki says who made the TVA
then he could have said me, and then he could have stepped out.
Yeah.
Oh.
I said who was it who made? What does Loki say? He says who made the TVA then?
Yeah.
And then could you imagine if you just hear him say I did, and then you just see Kang step out the shadows and the episode just ends? That would be so sick.
It would have been sick, but they didn't do it. Plus, I think they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna reveal Kang until the end of this, like tomorrow's episode. But
you know what would have been sick if they didn't even like. What if show him fully? If Loki said, like, who created the TVA? The Kang said, I did, and you just see, like, he's, like, standing in a corner, his eyes open, they were, like, glowing or something.
Yeah.
And you just see his, like, glowing eyes in the shadows. You know who it is. That would be so sick. But yeah, they didn't do that.
I think one problem with this Kang thing is that a lot of new MCU fans won't get as gassed as we are. They don't know, they can't appreciate Kang like we can, because they don't know his backstory. I guess
because they don't understand, like,
I feel like he's going to become one of those hype villains after this. You know what I mean?
Like Thanos.
Like Thanos, yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, loads of people didn't know much about Thanos, but then they found out and were, like, gassed for him.
Yeah, I think that'll be the case. If he does, like, like, some big stuff. And, yeah, it looks like he will do some big stuff. But I don't actually think we'll see him, like, until right at the end. I don't think, because if, like I said, I'm sad they didn't reveal him, like, in this episode. But I feel like if they did reveal him, it would have been a bit too early. That's one thing.
Yeah.
I think, if it was, like, a 5-episode thing, then they could have revealed him, but it's obviously 6. And the way this episode ends, obviously, because we could basically skip to the end now, because Ravonna basically gets back up, tries to... Oh, and she doesn't even try to fight Sylvie. She
she just prudes Loki straight
Loki
up.
While Loki's about to say to Sylvie, I think he's about to say, I love you.
Obviously, again, as soon as I... Yeah, that's what I think he was going to say as well. As soon as I saw that, though, I was like, okay, he's not dead.
Yeah, he's not dead, yeah.
He's just alive, yeah. So... He gets pruned, and then Sylvie looks like heartbroken, obviously, because she probably had a good idea of what Loki was going to say. And then the episode just kind of ends there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
where Loki gets pruned. Yeah. But the after-credit scene happens, and then we see Loki kind of just sitting on the floor.
And he says, where am I, hell? And he's talking about Marvel hell, and I think that's the second time it's been mentioned in the MCU. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because if you look at the subtitles, it's spelled
H-E-L,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then he says, and then he's like, where am I, hell? And then someone says, no, but you will be if you don't come with us. And then you see it cut over, and I don't even care about the other two. I mean, or 3, technically, because the alligator's Loki as well. Yeah, there's 4 Lokis. There's the boastful Loki, Kid Loki, the alligator one, who I don't even care about those 3 because Richard E. Grant is playing classic Loki in his classic comics. That's like perfect casting.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
That's really cool.
That's like, that's like perfect, I think. Could you imagine if they just had classic versions of every Marvel character?
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
I think they mostly got them, like, they looked perfect. Like, if you see, I don't know if alligator Loki actually exists in the comics, but he had a little helmet on, so that was cute, I guess. And one thing I was suggesting to you, that alligator Loki could be from the same timeline, or, like, obviously dimension, or whatever they want to call this multiverse. Universe as Spider-Ham and, like, all the animal Avengers and all that.
Animal characters, yeah.
Boastful Loki's holding his makeshift Mjolnir, which is pretty cool. And obviously we get Richard E. Grant as the classic Loki. He's having sort of like a little satchel bag thing. Then we've got Kid Loki, who looks spitting image of the new comic Kid Loki, which I think is brilliant. And really
so that's good casting in terms of looks. Yeah.
And obviously we know we're going to get a big Loki versus the TVA fight, like bare, just like loads of Loki.
That's sick, where like loads of Lokis just like storm the TVA and start trying to kill everyone.
But that's already confirmed because number one, we haven't seen President Loki yet, so we don't know what the hell's going on there. And plus,
and I don't know if I called this in one of the videos before, but I was saying that I think that could happen because obviously the scene where Loki's on the trailer and he's like, "What did you expect?" And I said, like, I think that's a bunch of different versions of Loki standing behind him. I don't know if I said that in a video.
I think you might have said it in a video.
You on the phone.
You might have.
Yes.
And that's pretty much
confirmed.
You, we
were like talking one time.
That's pretty much confirmed that scene, that way he's got all the Lokis behind him, is like, those are actually Lokis. And obviously we're going to see a big Loki versus the TVA kind of thing. Where I think we won't see Loki's versus Kang. No, we won't see that, I don't think. I think we'll see Loki's versus the TVA, and then once the TVA are pretty much defeated, then Kang will reveal himself. That's what I think it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm thinking it'll be like Avengers 1, where, like, all the characters kind of get defeated except Ravonna, and then she goes somewhere and she goes to tell Kang.
Yeah. Or it could be Miss Minutes. Who knows? I mean...
Yeah, which I've heard a theory, but... I don't know. I mean, I think that'd be an interesting twist, depending on how they do it. But I don't know if I'd quite like it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the episode. So we can talk about theories for a few minutes, and then So basically, I think with it, there's only 3 options I've seen. They don't. The two don't really make much sense. Kang's obviously the first one. That's the one every like comic fan's rooting for. That's the one we're rooting for.
Yeah.
Then Miss Minutes, stupid. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see how they could make that work, but I'm interested to see if they do.
And then the guy from the first episode, the one who's like talking about
which
the
I think that's even stupider than Miss Minutes, but I don't know.
Nah, Miss Minutes, it can't be, because then if it's Miss Minutes,
maybe
that
she's
means
like a virtual representation of Kang or something.
Maybe
I don't know.
No, if it's Miss Minutes and Miss Minutes is like an actual like thing, then that means
entity.
That she's a being, which doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it doesn't, but then again, I don't know. Maybe that hologram's like a talking version of her. That's like trying to teach Loki how to do things.
It has to be Kang. It has to be. If it's not, I don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, I think that's
it's just gonna, in my opinion, it'll just ruin the show for me, I think.
But then again, that's like the whole WandaVision thing where people like. But then again, the thing is, if they do something good in the finale to replace that, I don't care if Kang's not there.
Yeah, but what else will make sense?
Well, even if they just say like, I don't know, there's maybe Ravonna like reveals some big scheme of like hers, but I wouldn't care. Like, I'd be okay with that. But the thing with WandaVision that annoyed me was not only did they not do Mephisto, but the finale itself was just disappointing with all the other things like Quicksilver and the loads of unresolved plot threads. How they just left some things hanging, too many things hanging. I think for Doctor Strange, even though that's not a Wanda movie, it's a Doctor Strange movie with Wanda. So I don't know. That's why I didn't like that. Yeah. With this, I think they could, if they do it correctly, and they don't like kind of rush the ending, and they do a lot in the next episode, which comes out tomorrow as we're recording this, and they do a lot in the episode after, I think it could be good.
Yeah, and then one more theory I just want to go over, which I've seen someone mention, which could be interesting, could be very cool at the same time, is that Mobius could be a Loki, which, I don't know, I guess it could kind of make it make sense, because I think they could say that Mobius is like a Loki if Loki was just born on Earth, it was like a normal person.
Yeah.
But, because we don't really know what Mobius really acts like, because he's just brainwashed by TVA.
Yeah, we don't know who he is, yeah, but the other theory that I wanted to say was, I think, as I was saying earlier, that place that Loki's in at the end with all the other Lokis is some sort of like TVA wasteland, basically, where when things get reset or pruned, they all get sent there. And my kind of reasoning behind that is not only are there a bunch of variants of Loki there, also, you know, on the right side of the screen.
Oh yeah, I know what you're on.
The Avengers Tower from Age of Ultron's there, and it's like all mashed up and destroyed. So maybe that's some alternate reality where Ultron won or Loki won or someone won against the Avengers and killed them all.
Yeah,
and that's why that's there, and maybe that got pruned or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that's kind of my guess. So maybe Mobius will be there too when he got pruned and he got sent there.
Yeah, and then, you know, like, one other thing I want to talk about is that what this after credit scene means for the entire, like, wider MCU is that if this variance thing, because I don't think this thing has anything to do with time at this point. I think Kang's behind it.
Because I think this whole sacred timeline thing is made up so that Kang can basically put something in place where he can gain control over time.
Yeah, either over time or over a certain universe, because I think Kang's a conqueror, so he conquers one universe at a time, or one timeline at a time, and then moves on to the next one. So, that, also, I think if this whole thing is just like a sham, and like a scheme, and it's just like a bunch of rubbish, the sacred timeline thing's rubbish, the way that other multiverse stuff could be explained is the variance thing. So, we were talking about this the other day, how, with Spider-Man, Toby and Andrew and Tom Holland's all their Spider-Man could all just be variants of each other, and then that could be like a lot more. And then the villains are variants of themselves, and that's one way to like keep obviously because they're bringing Alfred Molina's Doc Ock back apparently from Sam Raimi's universe, like Spider-Man. So that's one way to keep that universe Spider-Man finished. That universe Doc Ock like just finished. His storyline's kind of complete. His arc's complete, and then like kind of set a new one with this one because he's a variant. You know what I mean? Same with Electro. Electro's a variant of the one in
Amazing
Spider-Man, but he's yellow, kind of thing. He got his powers maybe in a different way. So I think
that's if he even is yellow, because they said he's not blue, but we don't know if he's
might be green. He might be red. Who knows?
Yeah. I hope they don't have him in that like stupid, his classic comic suit. I don't know what it is with that suit where people like it. I hate that suit. I think it looks goofy and stupid.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll do that in this thingy. But yeah, anyway, I think that could be used to explain that if they wanted to, and I think that would be the easiest way for them to explain this, because as we've discussed before in a lot of other videos, this whole multiverse thing can, if it's done wrong, it could be turned out to be a huge mess. So this,
because they could, if this is like, for me, make or break for the MCU. Now, if they do this multiverse thing right, it's going to be the best thing that ever happened to the MCU. If they do it wrong, it's going to be the worst thing that ever happened, and it'll just like kill it. Because if they mess it up and it just becomes a mess, that's just going to be annoying. I don't know. I don't think there's any way they could do this like just okay, or just like it's either going to be one or the other extreme. It's either going to be amazing or terrible.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see, and let's just hope they make it make sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, new episode out of Loki tomorrow, so we've got that to look forward to. Also, Black Widow's out tomorrow in the UK, which we are both going to watch.
Yeah, so we're going to watch it. So
make sure you look out for that. We'll probably do an initial reactions first, and then a full review maybe the day after.
Mm-hmm. Where we go to spoilers and stuff.
Yeah, so make sure you stick around for that. Hit the subscribe button, and if you did like this video, don't forget to like, share your thoughts in the comments, share your theories and everything. We'd love to hear them. So yeah.
I guess that's about it. So, if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. Be sure to check out Instagram and Twitter, links in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. See ya.